Welcome back, loungers. This is your host, DJ Mary B, and welcome back to another episode of our Mother's Day special. If it's your first time, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if you're coming back, what it do, loungers? All right, so our next guest is a good friend of mine. She's gonna come and she's gonna share her story. She is the first of our mothers to come and be on this platform and grace us with everything that she's been through. So guys, stay tuned because you don't want to miss this. Welcome, loungers. Yes, this is another episode of City Lounge Mother's Day special. We have here Miss Niqa Bailey. Yes. Hey. She is our first mother for our special today. Shanika, I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, so my name is Shanika. Many know me as Niqa B, SB, and I am a singer, actor, entrepreneur with a cosmetic line, and most importantly, I'm a single mama doing my thing. Okay.
Yes. 3 snaps for the single moms out there. Okay. So Shanika, I really wanted to bring you on here because the women that I have on here, I just feel like are amazing representations of Black women, successful, doing their things, all walks of life. And also too, for people that don't know, me and Shanika know each other from a while now, from like
my very first job.
Yes, Pizza Nova. Shout out to Pizza Nova. We've been through our stuff, and I think it's beautiful to see that we've grown. We could sit here, we can have a conversation, and we're just healing and we're elevating. Yes. And I think I want to let the viewers know when I did stop going on social media. I came off for 2 years. I remember, Shanika, you were the first person to message me. You're like, hey mama, like, are you good? Like, and I was like, yeah, I'm okay, and you're like, just know that, like, I understand. Like, I didn't have to say anything to you. You're just like, I get it. Sometimes you need that break. So I still remember that, and I want to thank you for even just reaching out. Like, you didn't have to do that. So while we jump into this, I want you to tell our viewers what inspired you, or where did this inspiration of you getting into your music and your acting, like, where did it start from?
From I was a little girl, I always wanted to just be on TV. That's always been my thing, whether it was singing. To be honest, I didn't tap into my acting until recently. This is just my second year being an actor, but the singing has always been something that I've been passionate about. From I was in school, all my teachers, everyone knows singing was my number one thing. Talent shows, I was always a part of that. And even the school that my daughter goes to right now, was my old school, and they still say that, oh, is your mom still singing? Is your mom still doing arts? Like, stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely been a part of me for a while. I was doing a lot of my singing videos, like covers on social media. That's how I started doing it. But going into the professional aspect of like trying to create music videos and things like that, I didn't tap into that till 2018. And it was because in 2017, one of my friends, she was working at a photography studio, and this opportunity came about where they needed a host for the Cut Hip Hop Awards. Okay. She was doing like behind the scenes and things like that. So she reached out to me, and I was like, oh God, I'm scared. Like, I've never been a host before. Like, can I do this? Whatever. And I was like, you know what, just do it. Like, so I went and I was hosting there, and I was having a great time. But while being there and seeing the artists on stage and just, doing their thing, I felt like I'm on the opposite side of things. I was like, oh, I should be singing too. Like, I should be on stage and whatever. So while I was there, I was networking and I was meeting people. And they actually invited me out to like some party or whatever, and I brought my cousin with me. And she was like, oh, like my cousin can sing. And they were like, oh, you can? And I was
shout out to the cousins, shout out to your cousin. You need your family that are there to like,
So I sang, and then they were like, oh wow, like you can sing, and then I started working with them, and that's how I created my first music video, Sorry. It's on YouTube. And unfortunately, I don't work with them anymore, just, unprofessionalism, things that were going on with that. And I had to take myself away from that situation. But, I did learn a lot of things, and I enjoyed like the process with creating some music with them. I started working with someone else, the same kind of situation, unprofessionalism again, you know. So yeah, I got into a discouraged place, and as many creators, I'm sure you can relate, we get in those times of self-sabotage or feeling like, you know what, you don't want to do this anymore or whatever. And at that point I was like, you know what, I'm done with this. And I stopped doing it for a while, and then I tapped into
the
acting. And yeah, with that, things have just been flourishing for me, and clearly this is what I'm supposed to be doing, at least right now.
Yes.
But lately I've been feeling like I want to do singing again, but I'm not in a rush, because like I said, it's always been a part of me, and there's no rush to what you were passionate about. I can do it at any time. And I had to like literally master that mind frame, because I was like, I'm gonna be singing when I'm like 33, or like, you know what I mean,
putting that, because we have biological clocks, so we feel like by a certain time I have to do this, that, and God's just laughing at us, because he's like, I already have what needs to be done for you, you know.
No, it's true. And that's exactly how the acting came about, because I remember clear. I was working at a 9-to-5 job, and I hated being there. Anyone who knows me, I don't like working in office environment things. It's not my thing. I get bored very easily. So I was there, and I remember I had a journal, because I'm someone who likes to do journal writing, and I was always like writing every day, like, I hate being here, blah blah blah, just complaining, just being negative, like, you know. And then one day they didn't renew my contract, because it was a contract-based job, and I was like, this is a sign, God, please, like, you know. So I said I want to take that risk. Started doing my research on Google. And I used to do background as a child. Right? But I didn't really know how to go about it. And at the time, I wasn't talking to my mom. We always had our little issues. So I did my own research, and I tapped into that. And while doing the background, I was having a great time. You know, people who follow me on social media, I did Madam C.J. Walker on Netflix, Grand Army, a few others. But I had a great time doing that. And with doing those projects, I decided I wanted to not be behind the scenes anymore. You
wanted to be up front. And then it's just crazy how the universe works, because what are you working on now? Or what have you worked on before that's out there now? Because I know you was a Scotiabank. You did Good Life. But your most recent one that we talked about pre-interview was
Fear Thy Roommate.
Yes. So how was that experience?
Oh, girl, so
because I just feel like, for me, I think it's just dope when I think that as you get older and you tap into your authentic self, it's funny how everything turns out full circle, because you said you were a background actor as a child.
And
then now as an adult, it's like you came back to it, and it just naturally works for you. So tell us about that experience.
Fear Thy Roommate. I remember that too. It's out now. No, actually, you know what? It's not on Prime. It's supposed to be coming out on Amazon Prime. I don't know when it's coming out yet, but with that opportunity, so when I was background, I had a lot of other agents with this, but now I have a principal agent. So with that's what gets me more like, you know, speaking roles and things like that. So with getting that agent, I got this opportunity for Fear Thy Roommate as a principal actor. And when I went in there, when I was on my way to that audition, the day before, someone I knew that was close to my family and friends had passed away. So I was just like dealing with that. And then on the way to the audition, I was like, had to literally give myself self-talk and say, you know what? You're not Niqa right now. You have to be Talia. And that's the character. So I just, you know, was like, you're Talia. I just kept on saying, you know, that's who you are right now. And I went in the room, and I was like, I had to ask the director for a moment. And I took a deep breath, and I did my thing. And I remember she kept on asking me to do different stuff, and in my head I was like, she asked me to do different stuff because I'm gonna do a good job.
That like, self-doubt, that self-doubt
right?
came,
And I was like sweating, like, you know, like sweating so badly, but I was like, you know what, whatever, just do your best. And I did, and I booked it.
And you were able to get it. So I want you to tell us on the journey of how you got to that space, because I know me and you talked about, you know, where you were from, and I mean, from the journey of having your daughter, and then coming to the space of, you know, I need to put myself first as a mother, and then you just ended up tapping into your divine purpose. I want to hear about that journey because I feel like a lot of us mothers can relate. And I thought your story was just so beautiful.
I've been through a lot. I definitely have. And I'm going to be like open about this. So when I first had my daughter, well, first of all, when I found out I was even having a daughter, just to begin with, I was devastated. Just devastated because I was like, I didn't have the best relationship with my mom. And I was literally like, how am I going to be a mom to my daughter, And then, I had her and she's literally been the best thing to me. Like, she literally has changed my whole outlook on life and just in general. Like, I had to get my shit together, literally, like all around the whole board, financially, mentally, spiritually. I'm still on the journey. I'm not perfect,
Yes.
But I feel like I'm nowhere near where I was like years ago. And that's because of my daughter. So I started to notice, certain habits and things that I was doing that I used to complain about that my mom was doing that I didn't like. And I had to basically just sit with myself and say, I got to make some changes. So I had got a therapist, and I had my moments of being at home and trying to figure out what it is I want to do. Like I said, I've always wanted to be in the arts, but I didn't know where to start. And the reason why I didn't know where to start was because when you're healing from so much toxic things going on and trying to figure out what it is you want to do, because like I said, I sing, I act, shoot, I even want to dance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things I want to do. So it's like, where do I want to start with? What I want to do? How am I going to do this? Because I always put my daughter first. My daughter was doing dance. My daughter was doing all these things. Everything was all about Shania. And everything was about her. And I literally said, you know what? Like, what about me? Like, what do I like to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, everything can't just always be all about her. And
I think a lot of parents, we're all guilty of that. We always feel like, oh, I need to put my child first, so not knowing that if we're not okay, they're not going to be okay. We can't pour from an empty cup, right? And you never want to get to a position where you're angry at your kid because it's like, oh, I have to do this for you. It's like, no, you can actually find a way to balance to be there for your kids and be there for yourself.
No, and I'll give you an example of this, how this even happened with acting. Because when I got my agent, someone told me about the agent that I have now. And once again, I'm putting Shania first. And I went and sent her in for her audition. She went in. She wasn't doing the best because she's still pretty shy, and she was transitioning from French immersion to English. So she wasn't reading her script as confidently at the time. But while I was there, she was like, what about me? Right? And I was like, oh, what about me?
Look at that.
And I was just like,
look at that.
I don't have experience. I just have background experience. And she's like, no, I want you to go to the front and tell them that I want you to book your audition to come in and audition for me. And I was like, okay. And I did. And I remember going there, so many bad things were happening. The train was stopping. Like, I was like sweating, like, oh my God, I'm gonna be late. And when you're under the train, like, there's no service or anything like that. So there was one part of the train where there was service, and I called the receptionist, and I remember telling her like, hey, I'm gonna be about 10 minutes late or whatever. And she was like, if you don't get here in 10 minutes, like, you can just like forget about this audition, because like with this industry, like, you cannot be late type of thing, And I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna be there, like, no problem, I'm gonna be there. So even with that, there was pressure. Okay, and I get there, I'm running, I'm not supposed to be running, so I'm like running again, they're sweating, dying there, and I get in there, she gives me a script to study that I had to study before going in, and I'm studying and trying to calm myself down, and then I go in the room, and the character that I had, I could relate to because I had my own, mom and dad issues. Right? So I was just like, you know what, like try to facilitate that, my own experience into this character.
In that mind frame.
Exactly. So then when I got in there, I did it, and she stopped me in the middle of my audition, and I was like, that's it, like, I messed up.
You counted yourself out.
I messed up. My mind's made up. I want you a part of this roster. And I was like,
look at God.
Are you joking?
Look at God.
And I came out and I called my cousin. I was like literally crying because I couldn't
so many things that happened that day, and like you said, it was for your daughter, and then everything that happened on the train
to be about me, like,
about
God
you.
was like, no,
this is your time.
This is not Shania's time, Shanika. This is your time. Embrace the time, flow with it. You know what I'm saying? And literally from that day, me flowing with it, my life has changed like drastically in this. And like I said, this is only year 2 for me. And I've taken a lot of opportunities and, you know, baby steps to where I'm going to go, because I am going to be successful. I'm very big on manifesting law of attraction, and I'm going to be a star, you know. You guys want to watch this interview? Like years from now, I was like, yo, remember that interview?
Yes. Like, that's the lifestyle that we're trying to have here. Mm-hmm. So before we end off the show, I wanted to know, how do you balance being a mom and entrepreneur? And I want you to talk about what else that you're doing, because you did say that you're into cosmetics. So how do you balance that, and how do you get over your challenges? Like, what challenges do you find that you face being a mother, being an entrepreneur, you know, and acting and all these other things?
The challenges that I face, I would say, is balancing the time to spend with my daughter, because all these years it's been all about Shania and I. Mm-hmm. Like, I spend a lot of time with her up until right now, me working and doing my thing. So I feel like she's also adjusting to the change. She always wants to be with mommy, and I have to explain to her, like, okay, mommy has to study right now. So I try hard to try to include her as much as I can. Like, if I have auditions, like, you be the reader. Mm-hmm. You know, you be the other character. Sometimes it's a little sticky because, like, she's not reading as fast or not getting into the character
that you need her to.
Yeah, you know what I mean, for me to channel it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we're doing our best together for her to understand, like, if mommy has to have an audition right now, like, I need a little bit of space. Mm-hmm. And I just allow her to see me doing what I'm doing. I set up my my backdrop and my tapes out in the living room. Sometimes she sits and she watches me, and she'll be like, oh, she wants to do this too, and I'm like, you can do this, like, we can do this, we can practice, and things like that. And then with my cosmetic line, sometimes she helps me. I make these. Yeah. So how did you get into your cosmetic line? If you don't mind sharing with us, like, how did the concept come up? Like, what inspired you to start your own cosmetic line? My lips have always been shining, girl. That's how the lip gloss
that is started. Not a lie.
Okay.
Niqa always had
Vaseline. Vaseline in my bag.
It was the Vaseline and the puffs, girl. Yep.
If anyone was like, yo, my lips are dry, got you. So I've always loved lip gloss. It's always been something that I enjoy, and having my daughter, she loves it too. Yeah. So I just was like, I want to start making my own lip gloss. Buying lip gloss at the hair store, it was great. It was cheap, but I felt like it was too sticky for me, or wasn't my preference, or I was like, I need to create something that's hydrating as well as glossy. And I just did my research. I started doing that when I was doing background. Mm-hmm. So, like, when you're a background actor, just in general, there will be a lot of time that you'll have sitting and holding. Mm-hmm. So when I started going there, you learn different things and how to maneuver. And I was like bringing my notebooks and doing my research while I was there. And that's how I started doing this. And then when I was home and I had my downtime, I would buy the stuff, and practice and make it. And it's taken me a couple of years actually bore I even launched this. Because I didn't know it took you years. That's good. I would say probably about 2.5 years before I even launch these, because I'm a perfectionist. Like, I'm not gonna give you guys.
Say it again. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, because I feel like the product that you put out is a representation of you. Yeah. Whether it is you make wine, cosmetics, shoes, jewelry, podcasting, music, anything that you do is a representation of you. So if you're gonna put it out there, guys, make sure it's proper.
That's right.
That's all I gotta say.
And don't again feel like you have to rush.
Yes.
Because there were so many times, even with creating these cosmetics, that I was like, oh, I'm there saying I'm going to do it by this year, or I'm going to do it by this month. And I was hard on myself about it.
I like that.
And I was just like, look at this. Now people come up to me like, oh, I was never wearing lip gloss before. Honestly, I love your lip gloss, and things like that. So it makes me happy to know that, I took up all that time to put it out there.
Exactly. Yeah. And what is the name of your cosmetics, if you don't mind sharing with us?
Anisha Faith Cosmetics.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And where did we get the name from?
My daughter. My daughter's name is Shania Anisha Faith. That's her name.
That's dope. I look at it like you created something, you named it after your daughter, because at the end of the day, I feel like everything that we are doing is a legacy for our kids.
Yep.
When we're gone, they're the one that's going to hold us down.
Yep.
Right? So I think that was dope. Yeah, and I thought it was dope because it was different. So I like that you did that. So guys, we're gonna leave the link down below where you can get Anisha Faith Cosmetics. She has tell us about the little different things that you have. You have lip gloss.
Yes, I have lip gloss, and I just recently had launched body butters.
Okay.
I have some other things that I'm working on as well. So yeah, just stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that. And before we go, what is it that you would love to leave, advice that you love to leave with our mothers? Because we're gonna have mothers watching this, and some of them may feel like they're stuck, or they don't know what to do, or they are doing good, but everybody's situation is different. What advice would you like to leave with our viewers and all of our mothers from all walks of life watching this?
I would say, one, to allow your kids to see you work, and two, don't make your kids forget about what you're passionate about.
I love that.
Like, don't allow them to make you forget about what you're passionate about. You can have your moments and things like that, but just because you're a mom or a parent doesn't mean like you can't fulfill your dreams too. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because we often lose ourselves trying to take
true.
care of everybody.
It's true. So. And it's okay to have downtimes. I feel people need to understand that. Just don't stay stuck in that vibration.
Yes.
Pick yourself back up and just, get back to it.
Do what you gotta do.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. Moms out here doing our thing. Shanika, I just want to thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your journey.
Thanks for having me.
No problem, girl. You guys, we're gonna leave Shanika's link down below. Make sure you guys go support.
Yes.
Support. And stay tuned because next week we have another mother coming in. So you guys don't want to miss that. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye, loungers.